Okay, just lost my keys there. Damn it. Okay, this is the... Did I just swear? This is yeast comparison video. This is CN-36 from Yeast versus Safale S-04. This is a sponsor video. This is sponsored by Yeast. So I did a split batch a few weeks ago. I have a grain to glass video linked down below. Some sort of multi ale, like an American bitter. I think I screwed up a lot, but check out that video. It's still good beer. And I split that up 3 ways. Okay, so now you're starting to write a nasty comment. How can you make a sponsor video? You're gonna be biased. Hear me out and then click off. First link in the description goes to Yeast Brewing product page. Fermentis, Lallemand, all of the other like big manufacturers of yeast, they are not putting out bad products. If anything would have gone wrong here, which it haven't. But if it had, it would be on me. So I'm just gonna compare the results. I don't need to call a winner if you are sensitive to that. I'm just gonna compare the fermentation properties and the overall aroma, flavor, and my thoughts about this yeast for this beer. And if you don't think I can do it, click off and do not subscribe. Yeast comparison video. This is S-04 versus CN-36. Let's kick it. I'm Dr. Hans, this is Dr. Hans Brewery, my channel about beer and homebrewing. Let's start with some tasting of the beer and then I will run you through the numbers. So this is both like, this is called English Ale, the CN-36. I do have brewed with this a lot, and I think this is a real workhorse. It's fermented out really good, quite low. When someone says English ale, I'm actually expecting the opposite. Still a great yeast. I have recommended this also for like Kölsch, if that means anything to you. And the span of this is like 15 to 25 C. You see what is on the Safale, 12 to 25. So even greater span on the Safale S-04. I've used this quite a lot also. This is also workhorse, but this have always like fermented out under 1010. Of course, it depends on everything, but stop rambling and get into the beer. This is the second video. I'm trying to bulk record today, so I'm doing 4. So maybe do not check out the other ones to follow. I might, yeah, you get it. Cheers. By the way, also link to my mom's OF account down below if you want to check that out. Help out the family. Speaking of family, big shout out to my patrons and channel members. Couldn't do this without you. And I will be recording a BS video after all of this. We will have a dedicated beer and I will probably make a fool out of myself as usual. CN-36, getting like bready notes. In Sweden we have this like dry bread called knäckebröd. So I'm getting those like bready, malty, grainy notes. Some sort of fruitiness also. The S-04 is a little bit more mellow. Not getting a lot of like bready, malty, grainy. Does that means that the CN-36 like kind of highlights maltiness? I'm getting those. This has been fermented under pressure at the same temperature, at the same pressure, and also has been stored at the same pressure, the same amount of time and everything. I'm trying to keep this as anal as possible, and that's the problem with me brewing and you brewing, that you can try to brew your best beer, but I'm just trying to brew the best experimental beer. So if you enjoy this video, like a super chat or buy me a beer, all links in the description. Highly appreciated for helping out or supporting on Patreon, becoming channel members, and yeah, hitting up my mom. Not that way. CN-36, cheers. Looking at like flocculation, can't see any difference. They are, I didn't use any finings in this at all. Didn't use any finings in the boil. Haven't used anything in post. That means after fermentation. Cheers. S-04. This is really hard. Okay. I will give you the numbers also, so we know what we're dealing with, because I already know, but I have tried all of these beers, both off camera and also for like Patreon channel members, but this is the first time in this video I have saved this for this to try to make this as honest as possible. Yeah, no, I'm getting the comments that you're too honest, but that's how I roll. The S-04 fermented down to 10, 12. Kind of expected. It's always like, it doesn't ferment out as good as US-05. or as low, maybe you should say, because that's not the properties you always want. If you're looking at like other English ale strain or British, call them whatever you want, like Windsor or ESB, they are leaving a lot of residual sugars. The CN-36 have always like been low attenuated for me. So, and this went up to 1008. So if you're looking at those numbers, need to cheat here. Sorry, not like scrolling on your mom's Insta. Sorry. So the S-04 fermented to 1012, yes, and the CN-36 fermented down to 1008. So we're getting a 5.3% beer here. With the S-04, we're getting a 5.9% beer here. Of course, lower amount of sugar, if that concerns you. Just looking at those numbers, we expect like a maybe great mouthfeel. Could this be like lighter? Could this be more of a boozy? But yeah, it's just on paper. Just numbers, mate. Also like carbonation level and would like matter also. There are differences in aroma. Said this, like this is more like grainy, malty, bready. This is, I wouldn't say like either one of these one are like fruity or estery. They're just different. They are similar, but they are like, this is really hard. They are different kind of flavor. Aroma, sorry, very similar. I use a healthy amount of Cara aromatic malt, and that is pungent. So I'm dealing with that also. All explained in the grain to glass video, link down below in the description. Have you smashed the like button yet? Do you know that you are saving a unicorn every time you do that? On my channel. I would say, heating up a little bit now also, the CN-36, lighter in body than the S-04, as we saw in the numbers. And as I said, it's not about like trying out a winner. It's actually how are you brewing, which yeast is best for which beer. When we're getting into like what to brew next, you can try to see what if I have this grain bill, which yeast would I choose? Just learn from your experience and your experiments. It's a train. There's no train. It's a plane now. Sorry for the inconvenience. Great mouthfeel. More easily drinking beer, a little bit higher in ABV with the CN-36 and the S-04. Flavor. Fruity, malty. I do get a little more bitterness here. Thinking of that is of the attenuation, of course, that this has fermented down lower than this one. They're both balanced beers. I do not think about this drinking it on its own, but comparison here. But yet again, this is something you have to like, how does this yeast interact with everything and yada yada yada. Both are great beers and you learn from every experiment you do. If you want to see the CN-36 versus the CY-115, why don't you go and watch this video. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Big shout out to Yeast for sponsoring the video, and big shout out to my patrons and channel members yet again. See you behind the scenes. Thank you so much for watching. Dr. Hans out. Double fisted, and I have one more to go. Whew, cheers.